And so you'll see some of the front pages today. Nigel Farage has the answer. Labour doesn't.
Well, I don't accept that. The reform plan, or at least the details, such as they are that I've seen so far, suggest it's not a serious plan. It strikes me as something put together on the back of a fag packet. And let me just talk you through one of the core elements of that strategy, as far as I can tell, is to secure returns agreements with a variety of regimes across the world, including Afghanistan, Iran and Eritrea. And this government has secured returns agreements, including groundbreaking pilot agreement with France, and we're seeking to secure others. But frankly, the idea that Nigel Farage and the circus that is reform can come in and secure those agreements, I think is for the birds. And what happens if returns agreements are not secured with Eritrea or Sudan? Where do the planes go?
So
what does reform think is going to happen in the case of Iran, a country that we're currently sanctioning? They're just going to agree a returns agreement. So we will get on with the practical, hard-headed, unglamorous, step-by-step actions we're taking to bear down on this problem, rather than the gimmicks being put forward by Reform and other parties.
So tell me about the one-in, one-out policy. That's going to start when?
Well, we already have seen asylum seekers under that pilot scheme detained. We expect to see removals to France in the coming weeks.
Can you give us a date on that?
Because I'm not going to speculate on the precise date that removals will take place.
By the end of the year?
In the coming weeks. In the coming weeks. I've been very clear on when that will take place. And as I say, individuals have already been detained. And that is just one part of a comprehensive strategy to bear down on this problem. Lots of which, it must be said also...
Forgive me, Minister, I think, you know, this is a space now with our viewers where you can give them a real sense that you've got a grip on this. Lord Blunkett, by the way, says you don't have a grip on it. And you can use this space to say the one-in, one-out policy will be taking place next week, the next 12 weeks, just to give viewers a sense, because even Labour royalty doesn't believe that this current Labour government have a grip on the borders, have a grip on illegal migration.
You've asked me very directly to give your viewers a sense. I think any fair-minded viewer watching this programme, when I say that under that groundbreaking pilot agreement with France, asylum seekers have already been detained and we will see their removal to France in the coming weeks, will think that is a fair and direct answer. And it is just one part of the plan we're taking forward, lots of which is not all in force, it must be said. Our Borders Bill, which will give enforcement agencies counter-terror-style powers, that's still going through Parliament. Takes time, but it was going through Parliament. The French are still reviewing their laws to get more proactive and positive about enforcement in shallow waters. So the plan is coming together. It was never going to be an overnight fix, but we're making tangible progress, evidenced by that pilot agreement, evidenced by the fact that we've returned over 35,000 people with no right to be here, a 12% increase on last year.
People want to know when it's happening.
And I've been very clear. In the coming weeks, I couldn't have been clearer, in the coming weeks, we will see people that are currently detained.
You could have given us a date.
Well, I'm not going to. It's an
please.
operational decision about when the precise date is that removes. I'm not going to.
We'll try a different tack. We'll try a different tack.
In the coming weeks, I think any fair-minded viewer would accept as a reasonable
We'll try a different way of going around this then. So the small boats keep on coming. 212 people arriving just yesterday. The total number now over 28,000 in the last year. Are you really going to sort this out? Because it doesn't feel like this one-in, one-out policy is a deterrent. First of all, you can't give me a date when people will be sent back. And now we don't know if it's even really a deterrent. We're hearing stories that people are trying to get onto this scheme. They can't, and they're just using the small boats instead. Well, Lord Blunkett, you know, Labour royalty is saying you haven't got a grip on it.
Well, I've a huge amount of respect for David. Labour ministers will always listen to what he has to say, but I disagree with him on this issue. The government has gripped it. It does have a comprehensive plan. The pilot scheme with France is just one aspect of that plan. I've been very clear. Clearly, you want a gotcha moment, but I think for your viewers to understand that
it's about our viewers who come here every day, and we give them the facts of the story. We give them dates, we give them numbers, and it gives them a security to know what's happening when. But if they feel like there's an alternative that Nigel Farage can give these big speeches, and they feel like they're being listened to, what are you offering this morning that's new?
We're offering practical measures that are having a tangible impact and that will work. As I said, I think any fair-minded viewer watching this programme, listening to me say that people have been already detained under that pilot agreement and will be removed to France in the coming weeks, will think that's a direct and fair answer. And it's one part of the scheme. I've mentioned others coming through. And as I say, there is evidence that it's starting to work. I accept small boat crossings
What's that
are
evidence? What's that evidence
well,
that you've seen?
I've given you a very clear figure. You asked for
212
figures.
people came yesterday.
We have deported more than 35,000 people. That is a much faster rate than the previous government. Those are people with no right to be here who've been returned. I accept small boat numbers are up. That's due to a variety of factors, not least the fact that smuggling gangs are putting more people onto boats. We are, however, heading to the quietest August since 2020, it should be said. But this was never going to be an overnight fix. We inherited an immigration and asylum system that was completely busted. And back-of-the-fag packet plans, such as Reform, are coming out with today, which, as I've said, rest on measures like negotiating returns agreements with the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, with an Iranian regime we're sanctioning. I don't think they sound feasible. So Reform can stoke anger. We will get on with the job of putting in place the necessary practical measures that will see net migration come down over this Parliament and the gangs and the boat problem tackled.
Another big issue for viewers watching this morning is your promise to end the use of asylum hotels.
Yep.
How many people are still in hotels currently?
There are significant numbers in hotels. I don't have the exact number as of this morning.
So
today.
this is becoming a theme. You can't tell us when you're returning the one in, one out, the people that you've detained. You can't tell us when that will be happening. You can't tell us how many people are in asylum hotels currently. Was there any point of you coming here today? What are you able to tell us?
I think that's unfair, and I think your viewers would accept that's unfair. What I can tell you, I don't have the precise figure, the number of hotels.
Do you think you should have the figure? Do you think you should have come here today prepared with those figures?
Well, the figure changes day to day, and that is because we are reducing the use of hotels. We brought it down from its peak of over 400 under the previous government. And we're very clear. I share the frustration of communities across the country that want to see hotels in their area being used for asylum accommodation ended. But we've got to do that in a planned and ordered way, not a haphazard and chaotic way, because when asylum seekers in those hotels who are waiting for their claims to be processed, if they are moved out, they've got to move out to different accommodation. What can that accommodation be? It's either alternative contingency accommodation, for example, large-scale sites that are repurposed, and we're making use of some of those. Napier Barracks in Kent is a good example, or dispersal accommodation in local communities across the country. That puts further pressure on local housing markets and accommodation, and we do that in conjunction with local authorities. But it's got to be planned reduction of hotel use across the country, not a haphazard, chaotic exit. That's precisely why we've intervened initially to become a party to this case so that we can appeal that injunction, because we want to see the use of hotels reduced as quickly as possible. As I say, we've got to do it in a planned and managed, not chaotic way.
I hear you. The government says it's turning a tide on housing. You're here today to talk about the nearly 100,000 homes unblocked from the planning system. Tell us more.
Well, we're announcing today the latest sites being added to what's called our New Homes Accelerator. So one of the quickest and easiest ways to boost housing supply is to target those large developments across the country which already have planning permission, which for different reasons have stalled or are simply not building out as fast as they can be, and ensure the support they have the necessary support to make progress. That's precisely what the New Homes Accelerator has been doing over the past year. We estimate it's unlocked almost 100,000 homes across the country, which were stalled, which were going slow, which are now being expedited. And we're adding 6 new sites to that New Homes Accelerator to receive that targeted support. In Guildford, in Aylesbury, in Somerset, Wigan, 2 sites in 2 London boroughs, which we estimate can unlock another 12,000 homes. So this is a significant contribution to housing affordability and supply in those areas, but also a real contributor to our stretching, but we think realistic target of building 1.5 million new homes in this Parliament.
When will people be able to move into those 100,000 homes?
Well, they're being unlocked on a site-by-site basis. So some of those homes, I was, for example, in Northstowe in Cambridgeshire last week, which is a town which we're hoping to build out much faster than it has done over recent decades. And some of those homes were coming online and were being accessed and have been over the past year. So it will depend on the site in question. Some homes for sale, some homes for to rent on affordable rents, but a mixture of tenures. But those homes are coming online. But this is obviously the low-hanging fruit in the sense that these sites have permission already in most cases, and additional technical support, additional support from the government with its expertise and resources through our housing and regeneration agency, Homes England, can ensure those sites are unlocked, progress on them is accelerated, and we may make a significant contribution to housing supply as a result.
OK, thank you very much, Matthew Pennycook, Labour MP for Greenwich and Woolwich.
Thank you.
Housing Minister. Thank you very much.